Hi, hey, hello, and suffer with the rest of us. This is a Colts podcast brought to you by Fan Nation on SI.com. My name's Brandon. I'm joined here by your co-host, my best friend, Andrew Moore. Who gives a shit? You know? I mean, who cares? I don't. Do you care? Andrew, let's just go follow us at a Colts podcast, at a Colts podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Colts lose. Colts get the shit kicked out of them by the Jaguars. Okay, this wasn't some like, oops, we lost in Jacksonville. I mean, we really got our asses kicked by the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Andrew, how are you doing? Are you recovered? Are you alive?
The only thing good about,
clearly happy.
The only thing good about my Sunday is my beautiful fiance had her bridal shower. Nobody that went to that bridal shower listened to this show, but shout out to everybody that made her day fantastic,
including my fiance, by the way.
Yeah,
including my fiance.
over the top happy about that. This Colts game was the most abysmal Colts game I have ever watched in my entire life. And I watched the
Peyton Manning throw 5 interceptions.
I watched 2011 when the Colts went down to New Orleans and lost, I think it was 62-7, 62-3, when the year that Peyton Manning was injured. The reason that this was
but then you expected it.
The reason this was the worst Colts game I have ever seen is because Matt Ryan was out there. Starting quarterback was out there. Best running back in the league is out there. Top 5 defensive tackle in the league is out there. You have an offensive line that's paid the most out of anybody in the NFL, and you absolutely get your teeth kicked in like that. Unacceptable.
All right.
Unacceptable.
Let's throw in some quick comments here that popped up before the show. Andrew, Wyatt Law, longtime listener, first-time caller. I'm normally a glass half full kind of guy, but even I can't point out to anything positive to take away from this crap show. Tyler Dietering, friend of the show. I know they were down 9 carries for the best running back in the league after giving him 30 carries last week, 31. Unreal. They actually used him in the running game while down last week to bring him back. The only positive from the game was Grover. Everything else was negative. Coaching, effort, execution, everything from Stats Matt. Hurts being a Colts fan right now. Dr. Seuss. Seuss. I mentioned I don't care. Why should why would it care? Well, the players didn't look like they cared, says Matt. So why should you? Paper bags. You need paper bags. Why would you care? Why would you care? I mean, Jonathan Taylor, 9 carries, 54 yards. Colts lost 0-24.
Last time the Colts were shut out in Jacksonville, the game that they lost 6-0 back in 2018 when Andrew Luck was still there.
Shit.
Been a while. And again, same stadium, same team.
This game fucking sucked.
Explicit.
Andrew, here's how funny I thought your outline was today. I started screaming laughing and had to show Paige. Here's the outline today, guys. Andrew, usually very detailed, very specific about what he wants to talk about. Andrew, what do you think about the offense today? Trash. Andrew, what do you think about the defense today? Trash. Andrew, I added this one in for you. Coaching. Trash.
Not good. I mean, it's the game ended around 3:45. It's 8:00, and it's still hard to really process what just happened. I mean, we'll dive into the offense, I guess. You have an offensive head coach. As Stats Matt brings out a hell of a stat: 3 shutouts for Indy since 2003, all against Jacksonville. I mean, you have an offensive head coach. You go out and you trade for a quarterback that has made it to a Super Bowl, is in the top 10 all time in passing yards and passing touchdowns. You have the best running back in the league. You have the number 1 paid offensive line in the NFL with Quentin Nelson with that huge extension. which I mean, Quentin Nelson, I don't think played too terribly. I think maybe Quentin Nelson was the only offensive lineman that did show up, but Ryan Kelly.
Quentin Nelson could have played a better football game.
Well, probably. Ryan Kelly, what are you doing? Braden Smith, what are you doing? Matt Pryor, you look like Sam Tevy did last year. Danny Pinter, where are you?
We have much to look forward to.
It was just astounding how bad this offense looked. I mean, wide receivers, I mean, we'll get to you, Chris Ballard, in a bit.
Do you want to hear something hilarious? In my brain, we beat the Chiefs next week. You know what I mean? Like,
the NFL is so wild. It could happen, but
eat shit. What? I don't know what stats Matt's doing here in the moderation. I don't know what he's doing. Let it through. Let the stat. Tyler Dietering's allowed to comment. I don't know what he blocked. I don't know what just happened. Matt, put that comment through. I don't know how to fix it. What was I saying?
I don't know. You got off on a tangent that you lost focus. Let's bring it back in here. But I mean, the offense should not look that bad against the Jacksonville team. It looked like there was just no purpose with the offense. It seemed like the Colts tried to run it with Jonathan Taylor. The offensive line got zero push because Jacksonville focused all of their attention on Jonathan Taylor and dared the Colts to beat them through the air. Absolutely could not do it. I mean, I'll bring up Matt. Let's start at the top of the quarterback. Matt Ryan.
Hold on. Pause. Tyler Dietering's comment was, Frank on the hot seat, ? Same shit as last year, running some games, not running virtually at all other games.
We'll get to it. But
we're Matt, get to the Frank Wright conversation.
Matt Ryan, 16 of 30, 195 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 5 sacks, and a quarterback rating of 34.0, as compared to Trevor Lawrence, who was 25 of 30, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks, and a quarterback rating of 121.5. If Trevor Lawrence played the Colts every single day or every single game, he would be the best quarterback of all time.
Top 5 at least.
Plain and simple. But
top 5 in the league right now, at least. I think you're pushing a top 5, top all time.
When you have an offense that you've really invested a lot into, especially that offensive line up front, which if heads do roll, I think it should start with Chris Strausser and Kevin Mawai, the offensive line coaches. It's unacceptable to be, these guys aren't rookies. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and Braden Smith are each paid top 5 in their position at least. And you just get absolutely dominated up front like that. It's inexcusable. It happened last week against the Texans. We go back to last year. It happened last year against Jacksonville. Happened last week against the Raiders. You can't blame that you're coming back from COVID any longer. I mean, this is 4 games in a row where an offensive line that is paid to be elite has looked bottom 5 in the league. And I mean, for a team that focuses so much on the fronts, when your fronts aren't producing, you get your ass kicked. And that's exactly what's had happened to the Colts.
Listen here, Wayne Taylor, I am also pissed. Okay. I'm just telling you right now, I'm also pissed. Andrew, what I tell you, and we're just going to blend, the trash offense and the trash defense into one here. I told you, I said, the way we covered last week, we are in trouble if we continue, because we'll make Trevor Lawrence look like a top 5 quarterback because Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Marvin Jones Jr. are veteran guys who have receiving skills, and they combined for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus Travis Etienne's 33 receiving yards and 20 rushing yards. James Robinson's 64 rushing yards. Doesn't sound like much, but there's a touchdown in there. It just seemed like James Robinson didn't have any long runs, but it always seemed like when he needed to get a first down, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense had no answer. Defense couldn't tackle. The offense, Nyheim Hines, starts out first drive, 2 catches, keeping us going. Didn't see Nyheim Hines the rest of the game, damn near, it felt like. Just nonsensical bullshit. I can't even form a linear podcast right now because my brain keeps going here and there and here and there and here and there, and I want to talk about it all at once, and I can't.
We look at the defense here.
Keep it in line, Andrew. This is my job normally. You keep it in line today.
Since I didn't put the detailed outline. We're all over the place, but hey, makes for good content, I guess.
Let's start. Feels like we do right now. Every single person listening to this feels like we do right now.
Let's start with the defensive front. Outside of Grover Stewart has been the best defensive lineman for the Colts this year. Yeah. Agree?
Yeah, 100%. I actually we were together. I was like, Big Grove's been playing a great game.
I mean, you get Yannick Ngakoue. You trade away Rock Ya-Sin, who Rock Ya-Sin has. I mean, he's been playing pretty well over there in Las Vegas.
In the game he was just in.
Yannick Ngakoue, where are you, bud? I mean, I know you read my articles and I know you follow me on Twitter, but inexcusable that he's not affecting the game. This was all supposed to change with this attacking front. You get the guys split out wide. You bring in Yannick Ngakoue. Kwity Paye is supposed to take that second-year leap. You don't get a single sack on Trevor Lawrence. DeForest Buckner, I know you're hurt, but if you're hurt and you're playing, I mean, you're considered.
Matt Ryan's had 5 times, by the way.
It's this defensive line on a defense that is predicated on getting pressure up front with your top 4 guys. Did nothing. The linebackers. Bobby Okereke missing coverages. Zaire Franklin, what are you doing? Just
Bobby got fucking lit up one play too. I don't know if you saw the one I'm talking about, but Bobby got lit up.
This defense who is supposed to do more press coverage. It looked like Matt Eberflus' system out there where free releases. Kenny Moore, who was holding out, and I wrote an article. I said, hey, pay the man. Kenny Moore doesn't need, I mean, he looks like he should be cut after what's happened. And this isn't just these first 2 games. He played bad in Jacksonville. Like, Kenny Moore, show up, bud. You're claiming all this money, claiming that you shouldn't be paid like a slot corner. You should be paid as a top outside corner. And you can't even guard Christian Kirk on a simple Texas route in the red zone, buddy. I mean, don't pay him now. I don't even know if he should get another contract with the Colts if this keeps up. The entire
turnovers created.
Entire defense. I mean, we moved on from the offense pretty quickly, but entire defense uninspired. Looked like they couldn't give a damn to be out there. Stephon Gilmore dropped an interception. Julian Blackmon dropped an interception. What's going on? I mean, if Shaquille Leonard is really that valuable to this defense, where if he isn't on the field, this defense is bottom 5 in the league. When we were talking about it should be possibly top 5 in the league, maybe instead of $100 million, you should go out and pay Shaquille $200 million if he's really that important to this defense. That was pathetic showing by the Indianapolis Colts defense. Offense, we talked about kicking for how much last week? Chase McLaughlin didn't even get a chance to kick.
Not a single one. Well, he had chances, and Frank Reich just chose not to put him out there. Which, by the way,
the game was out of reach,
by the way,
so who cares?
Listen, should they send somebody out to kick, or should they just go for 2 on every touchdown? What fucking touchdowns, you fucking morons? What touchdowns? What's the matter? Kick the fucking ball. Let's see if we have a field goal kicker at least, because apparently we're not going to put it in the end zone anyway. What are we talking about? 2-point conversions. We haven't scored a touchdown. What are you talking about? Gilmore played soft. I mean, he played okay. They did throw his way. The one that is in my brain right now is the one where he had a chance to make a tackle and he just let the guy get a first down because he got outpowered. Dropped interception by Julian is when he got hurt. I thought it was the tackle. Andrew corrected me. It was the interception.
Dropped
interception. Big punts by Hawk. You know, he did a lot of them. I mean, FedEx punting player of the week.
Matt Hawk. Colts player of the game.
Hey, Andrew, how big do you think the spread will be against Kansas City?
Oh, man.
20. At least 10 points. Truly, I believe that.
I mean, Vegas always gives the home team 2 points or something. I'll say
8 points.
7.5. I think Kansas City will be 7.5 point favorites.
All right. Here, you want to hear something hilarious? Matt Ryan,
a Colts game.
Matt Ryan, 16 for 30, 195 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Do you want to hear something hilarious? I'm not even mad at Matt Ryan. I'm the poor guy. That poor guy was fighting for his life.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills unless you're a Colts podcast. Let's circle back to the offense and talk about that egregious wide receiver room that did nothing.
The first interception.
Michael Pittman's going to get paid $25 million a year.
I hope so. The first interception, the receiver, according to the announcers, and you tell me what you think, was supposed to run an out right there, and they continued to fade deep as opposed to hitting their sideline route. It was like a deep out, is what it looked like. Matt Ryan thought they were supposed to be running.
Matt Ryan thought it was a single high cover 3, and so he was going to drop in there, and it turned out that it was a cover 2. Matt Ryan got fooled on that, and he shouldn't have lobbed it up there. No, and it wasn't even an accurate throw. So I put that, I'd probably say 80-20 on Matt Ryan.
Okay. Now the other two, though, by that point, 1, we're desperate. 2, he's under duress the whole game. He's just trying to make something happen. Our number 2 and 3 on him, probably solely, sure. But can we blame the offensive line and the receivers for not giving him any time and not getting open the whole game? And he feels like, damn it, I got to try to do something right now. Definitely.
I mean,
how wild is it? How wild is it to look at that stat line and go, well, I'm not super pissed at Matt Ryan.
What sucks about the TV broadcast is you can't see the all 22 film with the receivers running down the field. But when the Colts are in the red zone, you can see it a little bit better. And what you saw was Matt Ryan scrambling for his life because Desmond Patman, Mike Strawn, Ashton Doolin, Paris Campbell, Mo Alley Cox could not get open. And that's why Matt Ryan was running for his life, scrambling out to his right almost every single play, just trying, pleading, can somebody get open? And nothing. And I guess we can go. This will be a transition into coaching.
Can we?
We'll start out with
coaching now.
We'll start out with this. Frank Reich, this offensive genius who we talked about could help these wide receivers get open. Where's the scheme? Where are the schemes? Where are the crossing routes? Did we see a single mesh concept the entire game? I mean, I'd have to look back at the film, but I sure didn't. I don't remember seeing that. Where's the simple, quick passes to get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands, because Josh Allen is absolutely murdering Matt Pryor? What's up?
What did I say when I was at your house today? Andrew, and by the way, I'm no analyst, right? This is a question I would ask you. This is a question I would ask Zach Hicks, right? Our friend, Locked On Colts podcast and writer for Fan Nation on SI.com. Hey, Zach, there's 2 to 3 guys going through the line untouched every time, right? They're blitzing, aren't they? Isn't that a blitz? The linebackers are going through. And
Jonathan Taylor can only do so much to pick up a blitz.
And he would say, yes, Brandon, that's a blitz, right? And I would say, okay, so why aren't we throwing fucking quick passes? Why are we not taking advantage of this blitz? Hey, Andrew, what do you do against a blitz? Screen pass, quick pass, right?
Get the ball out of his hands quickly. And
I'm no analyst, but that sounds like the thing to do.
Brian Hart, we suck.
We suck. We do suck. We're not very good.
I mean,
opening line 6.5 is bullshit. Wyatt Law should be 10.5.
Well, it's just again, I get back to it. Just seemed like it was uninspired football. Frank Reich, where is the creativity in this? Why are we just, when there's a loaded box, we're sending Jonathan Taylor to run in a 10-man box right up the middle when the offensive line can't get any push? I mean, I wanted to see Jonathan Taylor more involved in the game. 9 rushes, I think, even when you're down, still keep the the best back in the NFL in it. Get him some plays out in space on quick screens, because we know Jonathan Taylor can take it 70 yards to the house on every single play. Where is it? But again, we get back to that quick passing game there. And I really don't know why, because Doug Peterson, that's how the Jaguars started out the game. They got Trevor Lawrence into a rhythm, and it was quick passes, quick curls, quick slants to get Trevor Lawrence into a rhythm and get the pass rush off of Trevor Lawrence. Slow down Yannick Ngakoue, Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner. And we saw Lawrence get into that rhythm. They drive right down the field and they get a score. Why is that so hard for Frank Reich to do? I don't understand. And I don't think you have. You don't have an answer either, because it's mind boggling, because it seems like it's simple football. Simple.
It's because he's too cute. Listen, my mom. Okay, and I've said this. This is the third season we've done this show, and I've used my mother as an example a lot of times. If my mom is saying, why do we keep running the ball up the middle and up the middle and up the middle and up the middle and up the middle over and over and over and keep getting stuff? Ever heard of running a sweep, running a toss? Maybe get it outside once just to keep, to keep the defensive line and the linebackers honest. If my mom is pointing shit like that out, why? It's so simple. Like this game is not easy, but common sense is easy. Okay. Well, this isn't working. Stop doing it over and over and over. This doesn't work because it's all you do. Why are we just doing this, and not mixing it up?
Well, listen to this.
When we mix it up, we get too cute.
I talked about how the Jaguars were selling out on the run to stop Jonathan Taylor and daring the Colts to beat him. Why not do this?
What do you do then?
They were showing a lot of man, from what I remember. I mean, obviously I'll have to go back and look at the film.
So you're telling me selling out on the run and running man. What you're about to say, Andrew, is where's the play action?
Can we get a bell? Can we get a bell?
What? I have 5 buttons.
And they're laughing at us.
We're just going to let it go.
Colts were the joke of the league today. But anyways, action. They're selling out on the run. You do a play action at JT, and you get your 2 fastest wide receivers on the team in Paris Campbell and Ashton Dulin. Get him in a little mesh concept.
By the way, Ashton Dulin doesn't deserve the disrespect that we've been thrown at the offense.
Ashton Dulin was the best wide receiver
out there. Defense and one guy that played offense. That was Grover Stewart and Ashton Dulin, and that's it.
I thought our biggest concern about Paris Campbell would be, can he stay healthy? Our biggest concern about Paris Campbell is, can he get frickin' open? He had 2 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards. Sorry, Paris Campbell, you will not be back in a Colts uniform next year. I don't know if a lot of these guys
not right
back
now
in a Colts uniform.
Here, okay. Let's overreact. Let's do it. Andrew, and there's a lot of comments about this. I was going to bring some back up and throw them on the screen, but let's just talk about it. I'm going to address you guys. We're all thinking the same thing. What happens to Frank right now? What happens to Chris Ballard right now? Okay. I will say, and you would say Jim Irsay does not make mid-season moves like that. Jim Irsay has also said for at least the last 2 off seasons, has made a huge statement and emphasis, huge emphasis on, we will not lose to Jacksonville in Jacksonville, and we will not lose week 1. If there was a time that Jim Irsay was going to say, you know what, screw it, Frank, gone. Chris Ballard says, now Jim, now Mr. Irsay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's not be hasty. And Jim Irsay would look at him and say, do you want to go too? Because that's what we're looking at. All right, Frank Ballard's out. We're going to go hire someone else as the head coach to finish the year. It would not shock me if Jim Irsay went and told Chris Ballard tomorrow, Frank's got to go. Because year after year after year, it becomes unacceptable and it becomes a coaching issue, if not a GM and coaching issue. So Ballard should be on the hot seat as well. Whether or not it actually happens, we'll see in the coming days. It's not very Jim Irsay, but at the end of the day, like we've seen it. He's fed up. He's fed up of losing these games. Week 1 and at Jacksonville for whatever reason, those 2 games, and now we lost them both 2 in a row. I mean, he's got to be fuming hot. And I just,
all right.
What do you think? Oh, by the way, one of the things I did want to say, John Fox, that's an interesting, like we were talking about Gus Bradley, Marcus Brady, Bubba. What about John Fox? Fuck it.
So we're 26 minutes in now to this episode. So we got time. I'm going to give a small rant on each one of these guys, split them up, because I feel like it's fair to talk about why I think both of them are on the hot seat right now. I don't think Ballard's getting there. I don't think it's only Reich that should be. It's on both. And for those of you that do read
the receiver thing right now is why Andrew believes also Ballard.
For those of you that do read my work, you're gonna want to read my article for tomorrow.
I read all of Andrew's work, by the way.
I'm sure you do.
Every word, every period, every comma.
Let's start out with Frank Reich.
Occasional colon.
This is the 5th season under Frank Reich, correct? 5th season. Other than 2019, when the team was fired up about losing Andrew Luck, the Colts have started out slow every single year. 2022 was thought to be different because of how 2021 ended. Not the case. Same thing by Frank Reich and this offense, this entire team. They look sluggish. They don't look motivated. They don't look like they're laying it all on the line. They're not executing properly. They don't look prepared. We're gone past of this has to stop. It's why does this keep happening, and changes need to be made, whether that is with Frank Reich, whether that is with some of the position coaches. Like I said, this offensive line's too good to be playing this bad, and haven't played well under Chris Strausser in a while now. You talk about the wide receivers. Yes, Reggie Wayne's a first-year wide receiver coach, but this wide receiver group can't do anything.
Can I stop you there?
Go ahead.
On the wide receiver thing. My mom said something. I was like, you know what? If we lose this game, and this was before I even imagined we'd get shut out, that might be it for Frank. And she was talking about, well, who's going to coach? Blah, blah, blah. And she said Reggie Wayne. I was like, have you watched wide receivers? None of them are getting open. So I don't know about that. But carry on. Sorry, Reggie Wayne was a hilarious answer, but that's my mom loves Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne.
Some of the hires could be called into question. I mean, Scott Milanovic, quarterback coach, he was a buddy of Frank Reich's. We talk about Chris Strausser, another buddy of Frank Reich's. We talk about Gus Bradley, someone that they hadn't worked together, but it's somebody that the Colts already had a system in mind that they wanted, so they brought in Gus Bradley instead of taking a look at other coordinators out there that might have been better. I mean, we're going through the same thing year after year after year, where the Colts dig themselves into a hole. They'll end up going 3-1, whatever it is, 4-1-3-1, and then try to have to bring themselves out of this hole just to go about 500 and not be able to just run out of gas towards the end. That's same thing, different year. And I put a lot of that. I put a lot of that on Frank Reich.
I 100% put it on Frank Reich. I messaged or tweeted back at Zach today. He's like, hey, as rightfully so, we're shitting on Chris Ballard and Frank Reich, but don't forget the players that are out on the field too. And I said, hey, you're right, but also sloppy play like this 2 games in a row to start the season. And if you want to, go retroactive, talk about the last 2 games of last season, that's coaching. When all of the players are playing bad, all of them, they're either bad players or it's bad coaching? Do you think we have a bunch of bad players, Andrew?
I mean, the Colts led the league in Pro Bowlers last year.
I don't think we have bad players.
I don't think I mean, when you have 5 players make the top 100 list.
Is this true?
7 play. I mean, Googe did get fired. I don't know if it was just for a potty mouth, but Googe was a hire before Frank Reich was there. He was a hire that came with the McDaniels fiasco. But now I want to get to Ballard, and I think this is crucial because a lot of Colts fans, I don't know now, but a lot of Colts fans in the past have given Ballard a pass, and myself included. I normally don't say bad things about Chris Ballard.
He's not perfect.
This is on him. A majority of this goes on him because you're the guy that sat there all off season saying, we like our group. Do you like your group now? The wide receiver group that could not get open. You drafted Alec Pierce. Big whoop. You're the only thing you've been able to do with an offensive group is Michael Pittman. I don't care if you drafted Paris Campbell in the 2nd round. Nothing. When you're relying on multiple guys that are from either undrafted and Ashton Doolin's a hell of a player. I think Ashton Doolin's a pretty good if he's your 4 or 5, but that's what he is, a 4 or a 5. Desmond Patman, 6th round. Mike Strawn, 7th round. We like our young guys. Well,
your young guys are being drafted at the end of the draft.
And the thing is, T.Y. Hilton, say what you will about him. There's some catches out there that T.Y. Hilton would have made. T.Y. Hilton can find the soft spots in his zone. He can get open. He's a security blanket that Matt Ryan could have used today. And it didn't have to be T.Y. Hilton. Julio Jones, do you see what he did in the Sunday night opener with Tom Brady against the Dallas Cowboys? Julio Jones looked fantastic.
That's where I want to bring up this comment. Migsby, welcome to the show. You seem new, haven't met yet. QB thing, hard to win with QBs that are ready to retire. I don't think Matt Ryan's there yet. Thank you, my love. After that game, we just need the beer. Thank you. But I don't think Matt Ryan's a ready to retire QB. Look, and you just bring up Tom Brady. That's where my brain went. I saw this comment earlier, and you bring up Tom Brady. He's ready to retire. Hell, his wife's ready to leave him because he won't retire. Matt Ryan, listen, as ugly as Matt Ryan looked today, and if you look at his stat line today, Matt Ryan was not the problem today, and that's
Matt Ryan.
Crazy. It's crazy to say.
I mean, I don't put this on Matt Ryan. I mean, yes, he had a big part of it, but do I think Matt Ryan lost this game for the Colts? No. It was the inability of this team and the stubbornness from Chris Ballard and this front office to go out there and spend big money on a wide receiver instead. And also, okay, so big money on the wide receiver.
Allen Robinson, Curtis Samuel, Julio Jones.
Let's talk about the tight end room. Jack Doyle retires. You choose to go with 2 rookies.
Where is Jelani Woods?
2 rookies and Kylan Granson, who still has not been able to find the end zone. A 4th round pick.
Where is Jelani Woods?
Not producing. I mean, the Colts want to say we want to bring him on slow, but that's the thing. This isn't a rebuild anymore. I agree with that. This isn't a rebuild anymore. It's time for them to get guys that can have an impact now, not wait 3 years for Jelani Woods and Drew Ogletree to come on. Stats Matt says Mahomes would have lost this game with how the rest of the roster played today. I would agree.
100%.
But, okay, so move on from the tight end. The Colts and Chris Ballard, what does he always say? That he believes that the fronts are what determines who wins. So. Offensive line, you put all that money into it just to have a bottom 5 offensive line in the league.
Mahomes would have scored, though, is what Tyler Dietering says, and that's true.
You talk about the defensive line, giving all that money to spending numerous draft capital. 1st round pick, Kwity Paye. 2nd round pick, Dio Odengbo. 2nd round pick, Tyquan Lewis. 2nd round pick, Ben Banigou. 2nd round pick, Kamoko Toure. How many times are we going to keep going through this? I mean, you give all that money to DeForest Buckner, and believe me, DeForest Buckner has been a revelation. You trade for Unique Ngakoue. Haven't seen him. Grover Stewart. Thank God. That was one good move. But when you talk about you're obsessed with the fronts and that's what's going to win you games, that can't happen. It can't happen where you get dominated on both sides of the line, where it doesn't look like your guys, number one, came to play. Number two, it doesn't look like I wouldn't say they don't care, but it doesn't look like that they are playing for a coach or playing for their teammates. I mean, I wish I was able to get into the locker room to get the feel inside of there, just to kind of see what some of these guys are thinking, because I'm not going to say that they've lost the locker room, but something's not right. Something is not right with this team, and I didn't feel this feeling when I was down there in Westfield. Something has changed.
Something's bad.
And then
I don't even
to kind of finish off my rants. When you're that stubborn and you're that unwilling to change and you're stuck in your ways about how football should be played, I'm sorry, Chris Ballard, this isn't the mid 2000s anymore. You need to pay premium players at premium positions. I'm talking about quarterback, I'm talking about wide receiver, I'm talking about left tackle, where Matt Pryor was a turnstile. Bernard Raymond is a rookie, so I'm going to give him a pass, but he didn't do much better. I'm talking about defensive end, and I'm talking about cornerback. Now, I know they went out and tried for quarterback for Matt Ryan, but again, 37 years old, and it really wasn't his fault. Stephon Gilmore, that's only one. Brandon Faison, what are you doing? Kenny Moore, what are you doing? Unique Ngakoue, again, invisible.
Isaiah Rodgers played a good game.
Isaiah Rodgers didn't. I don't think he had any snaps on defense. He was on special teams, and that's it.
Right.
It's
fuck off, Tyler.
At this point,
470 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did play a good game, but at this point, there's no more excuses. This is too long in the Chris Ballard, Frank Reich tenure for this stuff to be happening. Simple as that.
I wonder if Mike Tomlin would have fielded a team like today's Colts team. Maybe somebody needs to flip a couple tables and bench some guys to get their attention. Yeah.
But that's not Frank Reich's MO. That's not going to happen. All
right. Question. Before we move on. You're Ballard. You're Irsay. You have all almighty power. Is Chris Ballard still here Wednesday?
Yes.
You are Irsay, not you. What you think Irsay is going to do? You're keeping You're keeping Frank Reich after this week.
Yes, I would keep
after the years
after this week
and the years of this.
I wouldn't, because I don't think
the 2 games, Andrew. We said we need to win both of these games. We need to win week 1. We need to beat Jacksonville and Jacksonville. We lost them back to back.
Well, as an owner, I'm also thinking about the future. And if this continues,
I am saying,
if this continues,
sorry, Frank.
I know you would.
I think I'm done. And I have been very with you. You know what I mean? Like, you and I have been very pro Ballard, very pro Frank. I mean, very pro them. And I have finally hit my tipping point. I'm done. I would love to make John Fox head coach. I'm not shitting you. I like Gus Bradley. I don't love the idea of that. Marcus Brady, absolutely not. Bubba, maybe, but he's too young, not experienced enough. John Fox, just to finish a year. I mean, you have a fallback guy, right? John Fox is a fallback guy. Like, okay, we can use John Fox till the end of the year and figure it out next year.
I wouldn't do it yet. I know you are. I wouldn't do it yet. And I'm also thinking, hey, if this continues, Colts have a top 2 pick. CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, sup.
I'm not playing. Matt Ryan's not playing to lose.
No, Matt Ryan's not playing to lose.
I wouldn't do it. Not playing to lose.
I wouldn't. Not yet anyway. I mean, they're on the hot seat, but I'm not calling for them to be fired just yet.
Okay. Well, they're fired in my book. Other Colts news, injuries. I mean, who gives a shit? Shaquille Leonard back, didn't play. Michael Pittman Jr. quad didn't play. Alec Pierce concussion didn't play. We all know they weren't there. Didn't play. Week 2. Slate of games. I'm done talking about the Colts. We're done. Week 2 slate of games. Chiefs beat the Chargers 27-24. The Chiefs, it's just one of those games. First half, I think the Chiefs were down 10-0, I think, and they came down and scored a touchdown. I was like, oh, that's how this game's going to go. Patrick Mahomes is going to will this game into victory.
The thing is about the Chiefs is they pay the guys the premium positions, and they don't have a problem doing that. So, but Justin Herbert, man, Justin Herbert's a dog. Fractures his cartilage in his ribs, can barely run or move, and he's still out there just slinging dimes. I mean, yeah, they lost the game, but Justin Herbert I was already a huge Justin Herbert fan, earned a lot of respect in my book.
Chargers have no running game. That's their problem.
Yeah, I drafted Austin Eckler in fantasy. Terrible decision, apparently.
Yeah. The Chargers rush game is not there.
He did get plenty of garbage time points. Respect for that.
That's fine. But they have no run game, and that's the problem there. Apparently the Jets beat the Browns 31-30. So if that tells you anything about any of my parlays, about any of my gambling,
Joe Flacco back to being elite. Is he back to being elite?
Joe Flacco's elite. How many pass interference calls did Joe Flacco draw?
I don't know. I saw Jacoby Brissett threw an interception to ice the game. So looks like Jacoby's still doing Jacoby things.
Lions 36, Commanders 27. That game was 22-0 at one point.
Good for Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, by the way, wish I would have started Jared Goff instead of Matt Ryan in fantasy today. Never thought I'd say that.
That probably pains you because I know you do not like Jared Goff.
I do not. I like Jared Goff. I do not like the way Jared Goff plays football. You know what I mean? Like I like Jared Goff fine.
That is fair.
I think Carson Wentz gets a loss. Fuck you. Buccaneers.
Carson Wentz through 2 games, 7 TD passes. People forget.
Buccaneers 20. Saints 10. Started very close. It was 3-3 in the fourth quarter.
Listen, my dad, all he cared about by the time it was the second half of the Colts game is all he cared about what was happening in the Buccaneers game today. So I saw that, was it Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore got into a scuffle in the fourth quarter?
Oh, yeah, Lattimore was ejected.
I think both of them were.
My aunt saw, Lattimore ejected. That's great. I hate that guy. It's just Marshawn Lattimore.
Love your aunt.
Yeah. Giants. Go Giants. 19-16 over the Panthers.
Brian Dable. My God. Great success.
2-0 Giants, by the way. Great success.
I mean, Saquon Barkley looks back. Good for the Giants, man.
By the way, speaking of Borat, guess what?
What's up?
I wore my shirt all day Saturday. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20, right? Wore to Johnny Appleseed Festival. And some guy didn't have the balls to say it to my face, right? But he gets a good 15 feet away and then starts talking loud. Oh, yeah, it's so cool. I wear a shirt that says I'm got gay. Starts mouthing off. And I said, are you going to shove that broom up your ass later?
Why are we talking about this on the podcast?
He was walking with the broom in his hand. I don't know. Just some guys talking shit about our shirts. It pissed me off.
Let's move on.
Guy's going to shove a broom up his ass. Patriots 17, Steelers 14. Did not see that coming.
I mean, I thought the Steelers were absolutely going to destroy the Patriots. And
we both did. At home.
Bill Belichick, it looked like after the game, I mean, him and Mac Jones, they had a big embrace. I feel like this one meant a lot to Bill Belichick. And I mean, good for Mac Jones. I'm actually way more of a fan of this Patriots quarterback than the last one. Go figure.
Okay. Dolphins, big comeback. They win 42-28.
42-38. That's
38. Andrew, that's on you. You're right. With a late touchdown. Jalen Waddle, maybe the best receiver in the league. Time will tell.
Hey, listen, you know what the Dolphins did over the offseason? They invested in the wide receiver position with Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, by the way, 2 touchdowns.
Waddle.
One of them was a huge bomb. So, we could have had Tyreek Hill, by the way.
Good for the Dolphins.
We could have had him.
Possibly. I mean, the Colts had the cap space.
Possibly you.
But
I thought Tyler had to leave, but now he's listening to us, stroke the Dolphins.
I mean, the Dolphins still aren't going to win the division, so let's calm down a little bit.
Maybe we'll find out.
Hey,
Rams 31, Rams 31, Falcons 27. That game was there had to have been a garbage time touchdown there, right?
So listen, the Rams were up 28-3, and the Falcons started on the comeback. Wouldn't have that been sweet? What is it? I don't even know the word.
Irony.
Yeah, irony. There you go. Coming back from 28-3 to beat the Super Bowl champions.
Nah, because it's not the Super Bowl.
I mean, it still would have been funny to see the Rams.
But it's not the Super Bowl.
Let's be honest. It still would have been funny.
49ers 27, Seahawks 7. That feels right. Finally, that feels right.
We're not going to do a news around the league because there really isn't any news around the league yet. Okay. But
we got
here's the one news. 49ers quarterback Trey Lance has broke his ankle and had to be carted off the field. He is done for the season. So guess who came in to save the 49ers?
Jimmy G won that football game?
Jimmy G won that football game.
I did not know that. That's wild.
So after all the offseason of trying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers Super Bowl hopes
now are riding with Jimmy
G. Rest with Jimmy Garoppolo. Not wild.
Incredible. Cowboys 20, Bengals 17. What in the hell is going on with Cincinnati? No offensive line, by the way.
They invested a lot in the offensive line. Sounds like the Colts haven't really done anything.
Cooper Rush.
Bengals had to come back.
2-0 as the starter.
That's not a bad. I mean, for all the stuff we talked about, Cooper Rush didn't play a terrible game.
He's 2-0 as a starter. 1-0 this year.
Listen, Bengals are 0-2. That's interesting.
Russell Wilson didn't do much, but he won a football game today, 16-9. Could have won by more. Thanks, Russ.
If I remember correctly, just from seeing social media, Nathaniel Hackett again did not have a good game coaching. And for this Broncos team that we thought was going to wreak havoc in the AFC, kind of like the Colts, Broncos look very, very vulnerable at this point.
Let me say this. I've worked in sales for the majority of my professional life.
Thank you for your service.
Okay. And companies love just hiring people based on numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you make a lot of sales doesn't make you a good manager, okay? Just because you are an offensive coordinator of an offense that puts up a lot of points doesn't mean you're going to be a good fucking head coach.
And has Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback?
Yeah, that too. Doesn't make you a good head coach. Okay. Okay. Doesn't make you a good head coach. Okay.
All right. Let's move it along to this game because you have to tell me what happened.
29, Raiders 23. Cardinals come back. Okay. Tie the game up.
I saw the end of regulation. Kyler Murray went full video game on that one.
Well, they got a penalty that renewed their downs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that saved them first. 4th down, Kyler Murray finally just says, screw it, I'll run it in.
I saw that.
Walks in, does a little fancy thing, right? Overtime. Cardinals, I miss the beginning of overtime. But the Raiders have the football. They're marching down the field with a chance to win. Field goal wins, right? This is not they had possession second. So the Raiders would have won. Hunter Renfrow gets the ball punched out from behind him. Fumbles forward. Luckily, Moreau falls on it and grabs it. I mean, this was a big moment. Okay. Raiders maintain possession. They're almost in field goal range. They get into field goal range. Hunter Renfrow catches the ball, fumbles again. Defense picks it up, runs it back for a touchdown, game over. I mean, just absolutely Lord. End the game. Boom.
Wow.
I mean, they were in field goal range. It's Carlson, by the way, right? You know what I mean? You've got a really good field goal kicker.
That boy can hit it from 60 easy.
Hunter Renfrow fumbled 2 catches in a row.
Man, that's rough. That's rough.
Shit happens.
Raiders 0-2 to start the year as well. Good old Josh McDaniels having a great time.
Did not expect that out of the Raiders today. All right, let's wrap up, Andrew. Colts player of the game. All right, and let's go to social media.
Matt Hawk, you get it, buddy.
There's no player of the game. We lost.
You
know how I feel about that. Andrew, however,
no player of the game.
Usually we'll pick a player of the game. Today he will
not. This week. Not this week.
All right, final thoughts.
I guess if you're the Colts, the only way to go is up. I mean, if you want to look at positively, we'll end it on a semi-positive
note.
If
the Titans lose tomorrow night, we're in second. We're still tied for second.
The division is still attainable, but it's a burn the tape game. Burn the tape. Put all your focus on Kansas City. Start playing how this Colts team should be playing and how we know they're capable of playing, and we'll see what happens. But utterly pathetic and embarrassing by the Colts today.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the worst football games I've ever watched.
As Wyatt Law says, turn off the lights on the way out. Night.
All right, well, like I said, go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, @AColtsPodcast, and I guess go Colts.
Go Colts.
Let this moment become a cherished memory. And then remember, a legacy is only worthwhile when there is a future to fuel. God bless you, and God bless football.